You can have no works and you can still be saved. Salvation and discipleship are two separate things, and the reason you feel so exhausted and so burned out and why you're actually not able to be obedient is because you think that you still have to earn your salvation. Salvation is about what Jesus finished, and spiritual maturity is learning how to walk from the identity that He has already given you. Ephesians 2:8 says, "For by grace we have been saved through faith. It is the gift of God." If something is a gift, the moment that you can do anything to earn it or lose it, it is no longer a gift, it is a transaction. So our salvation is never on the line because Jesus did not fail. And I don't think you guys are willing to say that. And Jesus said it is finished for a reason. When we tie the two together without realizing it, what it does is put it back onto ourselves. Am I growing enough? Am I being obedient enough? Have I repented enough? Have I changed enough? Have I? Now you're an imperfect person. Apart from Jesus, you can do nothing, trying to produce perfection. That is why you feel empty. That is why you are never secure about your relationship with God. Romans 4:5 says, "The one that worketh not, but believe on him that justifies the ungodly, his faith is counted as righteousness." Why is that possible? Because it doesn't matter how much works we did. If there was no shedding of blood, there is no remission of sins. Because James 2:10 says, if you break one, you break them all. You're an offender of the whole law. So does that mean we shouldn't work? Of course not. Doing good works is a good thing, but it's a byproduct of you realizing you could never save yourself and Jesus saved you already. Now you can usher heaven onto earth because you experienced His grace, and now you can show that grace and that love towards others. Righteousness was earned, not given. So to think that we could lose righteousness and lose our standing before God because of a lack of good actions or good works would make absolutely no sense. Because remember, sin is not an action, it is an identity. Romans 5:12, through one man sin entered and death passed on to all. So it doesn't matter how much you stop sinning or how much you sin, either way, you're still a sinner unless the seed is changed, unless you are reborn into something new. 1 Corinthians 3, Paul talks about how a believer can be very immature, very bad at putting off his old man, and still be saved. Because it was never about us, it was about Him. Through one man's obedience, not yours, not mine, but Jesus' obedience, many were made righteous. Romans 5:19. So the moment you stop tying obedience to salvation is the moment that obedience will become real and it will become organic and it will be an overflow. You don't fight sin to become righteous, you fight sin because you already are. The reason you're struggling to grow, the reason you're struggling to break away from sins and you feel the temptations running rampant every single day is because you're trying to prove something. You are doing it from insecurity about losing your salvation. But the moment you realize you're already accepted because Jesus didn't fail and His blood justified you is now when you can become secure. And secure people grow. Insecure people maintain.